And the reason the camera is here is because of out of popular demand, people around America have asked for us to give a gift of presentation to people in your position so that they can share the Daily Mile message with district level, come on in, district level decision makers, okay? So what you'll find at the end of this is that our team of individuals really do our best to make sure you don't have to do any extra work, all right? So this is part of the process to make things easier for physical education, health people, parents that care about kids, make their introduction easier. That's why we're here doing this. We're gonna go, okay? Here's the plan. If I can execute the plan is the big deal. I'm gonna talk a little bit about me and us, and then we're gonna turn it to you, and then you're gonna leave here hopefully with your school signed up, ready to roll this thing out at a time that you're comfortable with, okay? The key that I will say over and over again is don't worry about a deadline to start with this, okay? Digest, let it marinate, and then roll it out with the best people on your campus, and you're gonna see it take off from there. Let's talk about me. So the best thing that you're gonna be able to leave here with, possibly, is that I am Bill Russell. So you're gonna be able to go back to your boss and say that you were part of a presentation led by Bill Russell. The legendary Celtic, I am not, but I am a Bill Russell, perhaps not the Bill Russell. I'm a teacher, always been a teacher, 20 years worth of it anyway, officially. Started out my career as a teacher in the PE world. Had 5 preps my first year, so yeah, I know what it's like to lesson plan. All right, I coached 3 sports. I coached football, basketball, and baseball, ran summer camps. I did the whole I don't like to take my work home with me thing. So I got to school at 5:30 a.m., coached my kids up, and then stayed after, did all my paper grading and all the planning I had to do so that when I got home at 7:30, 8 o'clock, I can power down. So yeah, I know the grind. I was kind of given the tap of saying, hey, come to the other side of school administration. Spent 16 years of my 20 years as a school administrator. Most of that time was spent in a suburb outside of Chicago. And then life's path moved me to Houston, Texas, where I now reside and work with the Daily Mile. Daily Mile found me as I was in the middle of a teacher evaluation. I had skimmed through what the Daily Mile brought to the table. I was intrigued. My whole career in education, I had a passion for kind of using the tool in a way that works for everybody, right? So you can mold things to make things go a certain way in education. And I was all about that as a young guy and an old guy. So I thought the Daily Mile was like some soft clay. And if you hear the Daily Mile, you think something right away. I am here to tell you that the Daily Mile is physical activity. I'm here to tell you that the Daily Mile is not just another running program. So if you are interested in whole child, every child, health and wellness, you're in the right spot. Anybody here track and field star? Or just a track and field person? Like, you don't have to be a star, just a person. Yeah? Okay. Anybody here ever heard of a competition called World Athletics? Very good, very good. See, now you're gonna learn something today. So the World Athletics, and I did not know this until this year, so, the World Athletics is like the Olympics, only it's just the track and field part of the games, all right? And the reason that it's big time for us is because it was hosted here in the USA for the first time at Hayward Field in Eugene, Oregon, all right, at Nike headquarters, okay? So the Ducks hosted it, everybody came together, they did a good 2-week track meet, and it was fun. I didn't get to go, Jesse did. Jesse works with us at the Daily Mile, she's in charge of all things that look fun, okay? Basically, what that has opened the door for us to do is really capture the audience that cares, again, about the whole of the every child. We partnered up with World Athletics to be the Children's Health and Wellness sponsor, and then boom, we were on commercials. Y'all saw the commercial, right? I'm gonna show you now, all right? This is the commercial that aired 44 times-ish, and it was on big stations. So if you watched the games, you probably saw his commercials. If you didn't, you won't. But right now, we're going to tell you what the world saw.
They call us Generation Unfit.
That's not fair.
Or even legit. Because some of us run the Daily Mile.
I jog.
I fly.
I row with a smile.
It takes 15 minutes.
It's not very hard.
You don't need heat clothes.
You just need a yard.
I do it slow. I do it fast.
And I do it because... Shh. It helps me focus in class.
Give children's mental and physical health a real boost with the Daily Mile. Go online now to join thousands already taking part.
All right, so that aired, right? And that's big time, because the eyes that saw that are like, okay, this Daily Mile thing, I want to know. Why do they want to know? Because if you notice that these kids were leaving class to go out and take part in this journey, right? So when you thought, this is a running program, wait a minute, the bell rang, and at the end she says, helps me focus in class. Now we got a winner, right? Because now we're bigger than a running program. And that's enough about us for now. I'm going to talk about you. Perception of you, the physical educator. Okay, I was one, so I know what my friends told me, right? Oh, Billy, rolling out the balls, got your whistle, check out at 2:30, go home and watch your favorite baseball game and go back and do it again. I mean, I know. They all told me that stuff. I'm like, no, you have no idea. I know what you do, right? You probably are pretty good at building relationships in your school. Probably one of the top 5 in your school at building it. You probably have been the, OMG, can you watch Billy, because he's off the wall right now. Can he hang out with you for a minute? And you accept them all, right? At their worst of moments. Sometimes even you accept the adults at their worst of moments, and you become that for them, right? I mean, that's what you do. And I've seen it in action on various campuses. My PE health wellness people, they're PE health wellness for everybody in the community. And that is the piece of the Daily Mile that I want you to leave with, is that you are going to create a community that believes in health and wellness for everybody for a lifetime. This is what you see every day. Now, the big 3, right, are fueled by the little ones, but frustrated, anxiety, boredom. That's our kids when they come to school. The reason I show you this is some people at the top of education, that some are educators, some are not, but they have this misconception that every child comes to every school every day with the priority to learn. And that just isn't true. And I think that we know that our little bodies are in need sometimes. Now this little, and we got a blue guy there, what's he doing there, right? 1 out of 6 kids will show up at any given point in any given day in any given year in distress, in need of something, which means they're not focusing on the top part of academics, right? So what do? They don't show up blue, they don't. That would be easy, right? The door's open, the kids rush in, you're like, there's a blue guy, get him over to my office, I gotta help him out. Another blue one, bring him over. Up, that one just turned 12 o'clock every day, we know he turns blue, come on, right? It doesn't happen that way. So in a school system, what do you do to make sure that these people don't stay blue? Well, you got a garage full of tools is what you have. And the most efficient campuses and districts have people that know the tools that work for the other people in the building. And if you could do that efficiently, then you can get people to simmer down so that the learning can then take off, right? And that's a good functioning academic community. We need to be able to get the people that are blue help. Here's our teachers now. We talked about kids. These are teachers. You know these people well. I don't put my PE health people in this picture though, because you guys are like, right? You got it going on. And people come to you for help. But this is real, okay? And this is the reality. And this is what caused me to really embrace the Daily Mile as a tool for teachers, the educational community. Because I had this happening at my desk. 1 out of 2 were leaving. Now, some of them, I was happy they went, to be honest. Like the bad ones, when they go, you're like, oh, you just saved a bunch of kids. But when the good ones come to you and say, look, I don't know if I could do this anymore. Something needs to change. I think this can be the agent of change with your energy attached to it. They're breaking down. We know it, okay? 1 out of 5 of our teachers, they don't show up blue. How do we know? We got to help them. An unhappy teacher is probably not functioning at their best. Happy teachers are better teachers, so let's give it to them. This girl here, right? This is why people got into education, right here. That smile, the rosy cheeks, the outdoors. I had people tell me, I don't even remember where I was. I think it was in Nebraska. They said, yeah, we don't do field trips anymore. I go, wow. Because I remember a couple things from elementary education. One of them was field trips. The other one was PE, especially the parachute. Loved it, right? You're creating memories every day. So help this kid out. Here's why the Daily Mile was born. Let me give you just a quick snapshot history of what the Daily Mile was. So it was born in Scotland by a wonderful principal. Her name is Elaine Wiley. She had her finger on the pulse. She went outside and she said, what is going on? They were struggling, right? She comes walking up, she goes, what the heck, what's the deal? PE person's like, yeah, we just started. I don't know what's going on. Boom. She's like, this is a problem. It's going to be a problem forever. You know what? 15 minutes, 30 days in a row. I want these kids to walk, jog, run, or roll, depending on their circumstance, and I'll be back to check in on y'all. Lo and behold, 30 days later, pretty much every kid could jog the whole time. Not only that, right, but they started performing better in class, out of class, behaviors, engagement, the whole gamut. Well, the good news traveled fast. So when at one campus, now the neighboring campuses find out, all of a sudden now, we're at almost 90 countries, almost 4 million kids run the Daily Mile every day. She's on a mission. We're going to help her spread the mission across the world. Today's kid, I've got 4 kids at home. They do a lot of this. Okay? That's where we're at. The social part of what they do, sometimes I'm like, what are you guys doing? Go outside and play, right? It's not happening. So we better give them some tools. Maybe they don't lean on them now, but they're going to figure it out in a hurry, that when they actually go face to face and talk to people and shake your hand, they get a lot more out of that relationship. This is the good news. Okay, if we can figure out who the blue people are, and we can go to our garage and offer our supports, we will see a positive response. 70% of the time, if we can get people help that they might need, they're going to make some changes. That's good news. Okay? When we talk physical health, mental health, social health, giving people a tool that works is essential. So, we're going to step into the next part of the Daily Mile, and that is, what the heck is it? Right? So, your role and what is next, and then I'm going to follow it up with a brief 5-slide presentation that you can gift up to your administration, because all they need to do is give you the stamp of approval. Here we are. Key point here. Teacher engaged in the process with students. Key point, happening outside. Nobody changed. They just got up and went. If the teacher's not part of the process, then we don't get the max results. 3 to 5 times a week, 15 minutes a day, you head out to your predetermined route, and the magic starts to happen. It starts to spread like wildfire. Next thing you know, you have all of Dallas ISD committing to, hey, we want to try this Daily Mile out. 4 million around the world. We want you to jump on board. Teachers love it because they get to determine when they do it. Now, I've got to talk about that for a second, okay? So in Scotland, the size of schools doesn't match some of the schools that you might see here, okay? So a 200-person campus probably looks a little bit different than a 1,500 elementary person campus. So when I say to people that the teacher gets to choose when they go out for their Daily Mile, so when learning goes, boo, behavior, boo, all of a sudden they go, it's Daily Mile time, right? In the flow of the school day, usually that time starts to become pretty consistent. You're like, oh, my third period, 10:15 every day, right? That's what happens, okay? What we do is we build out kind of a block schedule for you. We have a traditional schedule for you. You'll be able to share all of this with your campus leader or your district leader. And then from there, they kind of window out when the Daily Mile can occur, okay? So you might not say, okay, I can go anytime from 8 to 3, but I can go anytime from 8:15 to 9:15. And that's how we kind of fix that. The key is that the teacher needs to know that they have the power to go do this because they know their kids the best. So you can't tell them, no, you're doing Daily Mile at 8:17 every day. No, that's not how it works. To get the best result, you got to see the dive so that we can bring them back up, okay? 15 minutes a day. What we know about the science is that 11 to 20 minutes of moderate to vigorous physical activity releases the pharmacy. So if we can get every kid to fall into that window, 15 minutes, it'll end up being 13 by the time the last person leaves the class and the last person gets back. But in that 13 and a half minutes, you have just shifted that kid's whole chemistry. And if we can shift that chemistry for 30 days in a row, we've created a habit that these kids are going to lean on for a lifetime because they're going to have the feel. And we want to give them a positive, lifelong habit that they trust and know makes them feel better. They won't be able to describe it. They're just going to, wow, I just feel different, right? And that's what you want. For me to leave a profession that I adored, this thing had to do a couple things. One, it had to make kids better, all of them. It does it. Two, it had to not create extra work, busy work for a teacher. Check the box. And the last one, and this was a part that I was a part of for a little bit, was when you're examining programs as an administrator, you have a budget. You have to buy stuff, right? And then you buy the stuff that doesn't work, right? So this is free. And it's going to be free for you forever. So sign up, roll it out, and let's get moving together. Here's what we do, right? We're a physical activity, absolutely. 15 minutes a day worth. Mental health improves. Here's a couple that I want to spend a little bit of time on. The relationship piece. So in the USA, teachers have told me, principals have told me, look, Billy, I love what you're doing. I get it, mind-body connection. However, I have never been rehired based on the fitness level, physical fitness level, of the kids in my building. I went, okay, all right. And I say, have you ever had the mic at the beginning of the year, right, the kickoff, when everything's fresh and rolling? Some people are like, man, I can't believe summer went so fast. And the administration gets in front of you and says, you need to build a relationship. We need to take care of the needs, right? They've all said it. And then they leave and they never talk about it again. Okay, this is something that you get to bring to your campus that is proven, backed by research. We're working with the University of Florida right now. We'll have research done by January that says this is all really happening here in the States. It'll be the first USA research, okay? We got 17 other studies across the pond that proves, that direct prove that Daily Mile is a viable option for learning, for behavior, for physical, social, mental fitness. Proven. Bring it to your principal. Let them know. We're not just making this up. Here's where your principal is going to go, Teacher care. 1 out of 2 are leaving. Ask your principal what their plan is. What are you doing to make teachers happier? They don't have one. They don't. Lunches, pot lunch, right? Crock pot stuff. No. Let them go for a walk, jog, run, or roll every day with their kids. The smiles on the teacher's faces, the glow that they will have, the gift that you give them. Hey, go outside, take your curriculum hat off, and go connect with your kids. Boom. They're going to scratch their head and go, I can see this. And then the last piece. I've got principals across the nation that are working this into their school improvement plan. You say, how? Just mention those words to your principal. They will go, okay, I got it. Remember, we're soft clay. Just introduce it, let people do what they want. They're working this into truancy plans, okay? Why? Because one kid came to school and said, the only reason I come to school is to do my Daily Mile. Boom, truancy plan. Okay? Work it into your evaluation. Work it into your classroom teacher's evaluation, because there's a relationship component to education and the evaluation system, no matter what evaluation system you're using. And when you say, okay, my evidence is I got to know Billy, Johnny, and Robbie through our Daily Mile, and here's how I got to know them, and here is how they performed behaviorally and academically over time because of this relational intervention. Boom. They can't argue with this, okay? Tell them to do whatever they need to do to build this into the pillars, the foundation of what their campus is, and let it grow. All you're going to do is remember your why. And the gift that you give to the teachers and the principal even on your campus is something that I don't know that I can describe here in front of you. But the stories that have been told, I had a principal look at me and say, so I kind of keep some connections in my back pocket because I want to be able to get honest feedback about how the Daily Mile is actually operating, if it is truly the Swiss Army knife of intervention that I believe it to be. So I had one lady that was in my district down in Texas, and she's like, no way, no how, I'm not doing it. I go, okay, I'll go to the next lady. She then goes home, calls me up, it was over the weekend, calls me 2 days later, sorry, we're doing it. Well, what happened? She goes, I went home, And I have a 6-month-old Labrador that's 80 pounds. He ate through my wall. And my first instinct was, take him for a walk. She goes, what did I tell Bill no for? Went for the walk, dog lays down, everything's fine. That was her aha moment. Like, wow, is something as simple as getting outside and going for a brisk walk change the dog's behavior, right? Got another lady that I work with. She said, no way. Took her 7 days. 7 days. Then she came back. She let one lady try it out. And then 7 days later, there was you won't believe what happened at home, and I can't believe that we would ever doubt this, because this 15-minute investment in time is a saver for that person. So think about the conversations that can happen in 15 minutes times 180 days and how well you can get to know people, right? This lady's a real lady. She works in Ohio. She found the Daily Mile. She's shared it with her peers. It's trickling out to the whole district. And the thing that makes her pretty special is that she has decided to celebrate whole child, every child, mind-body connection through the Daily Mile monthly. Like Halloween, boom, we're physical activity through the Daily Mile, they have a celebration. So that, as we think about the soft clay and your role in this thing can be as big as you want it to be, it could be as small as you want it to be. But know that kids aren't getting the memories of field trips anymore. So you need to create them. And this is an opportunity for you to do that.
I think one in particular is, I have a student who went through a lot in her younger years. And when the year first started, her guardians even came to me and kind of said, she's a lot of trust issues. It's probably going to be a rough year. It's kind of told me her backstory. And it took a very long time for her to open up. And one day we were on the Daily Mile, and she came up next to me, actually grabbed my hand, just walked with me the whole time, and just told me everything on her own, which was huge. I mean, her guardians told me, like, she'll probably never tell you what happened. She doesn't like to talk about it. And since then, almost, I would say once a week, she comes up to me and holds my hand and talks to me about everything. So, oh my gosh, I didn't think I would get emotional, but it's important. And it was just such a big breakthrough. And I feel like even her guardians have texted me since then and said, like, she loves you. And we're so lucky she's in your class and all that stuff. And not that that's about me, but I do think being in a different environment, being outside, where she doesn't feel like the kids are listening, she has like freedom to kind of talk to me, has made just such a big difference. I mean, that's why we do it. It feels good. Yeah, and I think for every teacher who gets into teaching, that's what we're aiming for. More important than, testing's important and learning's important, obviously. But that's, why I got into teaching. So it meant the world. Yeah.
Again, you're going to give teachers their why, all right? And that's going to change the way that they come to work. And it's going to be fun for you. This guy is just like you. He's Mark. We love Mark. Mark's cool for kind of a unique reason, because these little bodies in the back, right? They're little second grade bodies, but then he's second grade Mark by day, and then he teaches the varsity soccer team by night, all right? Now, Mark's got a kind of a unique thing going. He decided to attach the Daily Mile to some internal research. He then collected all the data, proved on his own campus the benefits of the Daily Mile, all that we've already talked about, and then he presented it to his school board, and they ate it up, right? So then from there, we had a side conversation. He goes, what really is intriguing to me is these little bodies, some of them don't have the resources that it takes to go play soccer in the evenings, or they're not able to be driven to baseball practice or to wherever. So he said that during his second grade Daily Mile, he notices different athletic opportunities for kids. And now he's pushing kids through the run to try other athletic events out as they mature. Now, why is that important? Well, in education, I think we all know that an involved kid is a better kid. And when we talk about changing the path for somebody, giving them an opportunity to be successful, giving them an opportunity to be noticed, is what the Daily Mile brings to the table for those kids. So now you could tell your boss, hey, guess what? we're noticing athletes that would have never been noticed. We have just changed the trajectory of that young person's life because now they might be part of a community that's special to them. And the possibilities when you're a part of that community, I don't know that they're quantifiable. Here's you, right here. Stay there. We need you there. You're the root system of this whole thing. You're going to have a lot of people talking bubbles, right? Fill them in, high stakes accountability. Some of us have lost that the eye on the prize is the heart and soul of the kid that comes to the classroom. We need this to get to this. Maslow to get to Bloom. Don't forget it. Whole child, every child, all the time. That's what we need. Because no kid is going to come to school for 100 days in a row when they got to worry about their next meal and they go, oh, okay, math is first. No, that's not a priority. Food is first, right? How do we know a kid that's in need? How do we know the blue ones? We got to get to know them through some minutes. So we got to invest in time. That's the Daily Mile. So yes, we get physically fit. We accidentally help people out along the way. And that's when I talk about a Swiss Army knife of benefits. That's why you need the Daily Mile. I put this up there because, like I mentioned earlier, we're working with Dallas ISD. They've got a pretty precise evaluation system, just like I'm sure you have as well. They strive for exemplary. And we basically say, hey, here's where we fit. And we will fill in to every one of the 4 domains to help your people become that exemplary teacher. Fits right in. Starts in the class. Teacher goes, okay, it's time. It'll take a couple weeks to work out the kinks, right? Kind of like traveling to the cafeteria. Some systems. Look at the route. No cones, no nothing. They kind of talk about where they need to go for the first set of days. And then over time, the kids just know. Some will walk, some will jog, some will run. Your goal is to let your teachers know they need to inspire growth over time so that they can experience that moderate to vigorous. Because as they get in better shape, they're going to need to push themselves a little bit harder to get that release. 15 minutes door to door, no more. Principals are key on that. They don't want them outside doing the daily 8-mile run, right? Out there for 3 hours. Good stuff. Here's you, okay, the route. This is what you're going to need to do. So I had a chance to see a Daily Mile in action in a community that did not have a lot of space. Their route was like a 22-lap route in 15 minutes. Remember, this thing is not about a mile, right? This thing is about 15 minutes, probably 13 and a half by the time they get to the route. And then for that 13 and a half to 15 minutes, they want to push themselves to the best they can while they socialize with the people in their class that are probably lined up that day to do the same work that they're doing. Because you're going to have blue guy that one day that's like, I'm walking today. I'm not running. No way, right? Blue guy probably needs some attention. And that's how your classroom management and your modification of behaviors is going to look. So you'll have some running, some walking, some pushing, some sprinting. A lot of times they sprint, they do this, and then they walk again, but over time they get better. Your route can be multiple on a campus. So I've got some that are blessed with a lot of land, and they said, I've got a soccer field out there. I go, well, I probably wouldn't have them run the quarter mile because supervision is tough on a quarter mile, right? So they spread out, and then, oh man, right, herding cats. So we shrink it down, cut that thing into quarters, have 4 different routes so that the teacher knows, hey, I'm on quadrant 8 today, and they know when they go. And then let them feel the benefits. Just know that as you introduce this to your campus, if you become a district, when you become a district that wants to celebrate whole child, every child health and wellness through the Daily Mile, let us know because we will be happy to support you in a Super Bowl of Daily Mile. And I will work with you directly to make it happen on your campus in your district. If your community does like a fall festival, kickoff, spring field day, something that you want to really boom, boom, boom for a bunch of schools, reach out to me and we'll see what we can do for you, okay? That's our Go Run for Fun piece. This is all Jesse's creating, okay? And let's take a look at these resources. So our job for you, what is it? Our job is to keep things simple for you, to not create any extra work for you. Most of all, support your teachers in class. This is how we do that. What happens is we get a teacher that emails me or sends a message on the Facebook group or however they want to communicate. They say, hey, can you create this for our school or our district? We go to work on it, and then you give it your stamp of approval and say, hey, this is awesome, and then we share it with the other teachers across the nation. All right? So really, we're just creating a community of educators that care about the fundamental needs of the all, and then we're all going to try and figure out how we can keep this thing fresh and moving over time and help kids. Okay? We've got habit formers. The teachers love this one because it gets writing. Like the writing part and the reading part is huge. Plus, they get to know the ins and outs of certain kids by writing more than talking sometimes. So that's a giant mental health kind of supporter. We got some, I don't know if you have any kids that are in the RTI funnel. 504 meetings? Raise your hand, have you ever been to a 504 meeting? All right, listen up. So in the challenge yourself to really learn this thing first. And once you know it, bring it to your 504 meeting and say, I have a physical activity intervention that I would like Billy to try. Because Billy, according to the data, loses his stuff at 125 every day. So at 105, Billy's going to do his daily mile with whoever Billy's working with, okay? And then let's chart how he does with that response to the intervention over time. Now all of a sudden this has become a tier 2, tier 3 level support in that triangle that you've seen every now and again. Right? Some of you probably use the multi-tier system of supports. Some are talking RTI stuff. It's all the same stuff. Supports for all, supports for a couple, supports for the direct. All right? This can fall in line with any IEP meeting where behavior might be a situation. So try it out as a physical activity intervention because I've been in those meetings. I've been in the meetings where we all say, okay, what are we doing to help Billy? And everybody kind of is in the huddle going, I don't know the play. Like, I got nothing. You got something? No. And I've been in those. So have this in your back pocket. Go, okay, why don't we try it? Can't hurt. No one's ever digressed because of the Daily Mile. We also have PBIS, right? Anybody at PBIS school? Okay, so we try to positive behavior intervention supports. We try to support y'all with that. Definitely part of the solution when it comes to that type of intervention on your campus. I was a restorative practices trainer back in the day. I was hesitant about the restorative piece because I felt that it implied that I was reacting again. I think in education we spend a lot of time reacting. We need to be more proactive. I think being pre-storative is better than being restorative. I think the Daily Mile allows you to be pre-storative because again, you get to identify the blue person. And if you can identify the blue person before they lose their stuff, you might prevent it or you might minimize the damage. So work it into your school's behavior systems. Last piece, and you've been great. Any questions so far? Feel free to throw them out. Don't let the camera scare you. Scares me. All right, this is you, right? You're the hero. So put your cape on and go. Go to your campus and introduce this. All your principal needs to do is say, yeah, I believe in relationships to get to the top. Yes, I also believe in the fundamental needs of kids. And you know what? I do think that not every day, every kid that comes to school is wanting to learn to the best of their ability on that day. If they can have that conversation with you, say, I think I might be able to offer something up and go to work, all right? Encourage them to join the movement. Let them know that our goal is the whole world. And in this room here, we're going South Carolina and a little bit beyond, I think, some people, and USA. So let's at least try it, okay? 4 million kids, 90 countries, almost 16,000 schools, and we are having a surge because of the pandemic before the pandemic. The pandemic was kids aren't going to be well when they're old like me. They're not. This is real. And if we don't offer something now and we don't have a little bit of urgency, we're just ignoring some things that are pretty easy to fix. This is a simple solution for every kid. So let's go. Here's our USA map. This is our team. We work with the team across the world. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying that on second place, with a little help, we could change that, right? A couple obstacles that you may face. Let your boss know. Say, hey, I understand that time is precious in school. I understand that schedules are packed. But what if I can give you 15 minutes and your teachers are going to get back 45. Because like I said, some fires are never going to start because of the rapport that's been built. Other fires, you're going to be able to put the blanket on a little bit faster because of that relationship that the kid has, not only with their teacher, but with the other kids in the class. Anti-bullying campaign, boom, Daily Mile. School improvement plan stuff. Remember, tell your boss to be soft clay. Any idea is a good idea because when you get teachers that are interacting with kids through a physical activity, relationships are built. Awesome quote. I have to say, it's the most amazingly packaged free program I have ever found in education, and it's a highlight. That's from a principal, and the Daily Mile is one of our biggest celebrations, a magical moment that we get to make with kids. Again, you're creating a daily field trip. And then if you want to get crazy and do a little bit of, once a year to kick off field day through your whole campus Daily Mile, boom, all of a sudden you're creating memories. I will share all this with you. So again, there's a couple that are big here that we touched on already. That was the 15 minutes. We want to keep it fun and simple and social. The key that I had a couple people already today, but since noon, have said, are you a running program? We're an activity program that some kids do run, so you're part right, okay? But we walk, we jog, we run, and we roll. We hit everybody. We happen during the school day. Again, I had mentioned earlier, sometimes kids with resource have all the fun. This is every kid. And that's a big difference. It operates out of the school day. Here's the benefits. Boom. Relationships, mental health, fitness, concentration. Your principal and your superintendent, whoever you'd like to share this with, they're going to love that. Teacher self-care. That's this slide in a nutshell, okay? Helps them rediscover their joy, empowers teachers, gives teachers. This is a teacher slide. Let your boss know, okay, 1 out of 2 are leaving. What are you doing to help solve that problem? My first year in Texas, I had 100 staff members, 40 of them left. That means I had 40 replacements, right? We try to do 2 to 4 interviews for every open position. Whew, tell your boss, I'm gonna save you some time this summer. They're gonna be like, okay, do tell. Here's a big one. We are not this, and we are not this. We need physical educators. We need physical education. We want to be in addition to the movement you provide. That's why you put your cape on and go, because you know how urgent we need to be with this, okay? Recess is one that I want to talk about because I get asked this one a lot. I have some states that have multiple recesses. Others do not. If your campus is a multiple recess school, the Daily Mile might be a perfect slide into one of those 15-minute chunks. What I would tell you to never do is if you only have one chunk of recess, do not replace that chunk with the Daily Mile. People will be upset about it. That's why, to save you some time, okay? So anything more than one, yes. Remember, Daily Mile utopia is it runs when the teacher notices that it needs to run. But sometimes with big schools, we have to schedule some stuff out a little bit. But the more autonomy you can give to the teacher, the better it will be received. We will give you the schedule if you need it. All you need to do is find it on our website. All this stuff is on the Googler. You can find it. The plan, give it to you. We're meant to be as easy, turnkey, plug and chug, however you want to label it. We don't want you to have to do much. All we want for you is to say, I'm comfortable with this and we're going to go. That's it, all right? Easy as 1, 2, 3. Talk to your lead. You're going to get signed up hopefully today. Implementation guides, resources, and then there's definitely some frequently asked questions as well. You're the driver of this. I'm leaning on you. After today, you'll get your school on the map. Here's how it's going to look. Just know that there's no deadline to this, okay? So don't go, okay, this is all right, but there's no way that I'm going to get this thing going on Monday. And then all of a sudden it gets put on the back burner and it's gone. No, commit to learning how it can look on your campus. Again, play with the clay, okay? Figure it out. And then commit to signing up so that you can roll this thing out. The most popular times to roll out, kick off a new year, right? Everybody wants to be more fit in the new year. So kick it off in January. Boom, good fun, all right? The other one is right after testing, okay? So pilot 1, 2, 3 classes right after that. It's gonna go and they're gonna love it. And fall of next year, have it ready to go and talk shop with your teacher, with your principals and your teachers so that you're ready to roll it out in the fall. couple ways that this is going to go. Your principal either right away is going to be a believer and say, I am going to build my schedule and every teacher is going to do this and we'll make it happen. Or they're going to say, hey, you know what? I got a first grade next year that's going to be rough. Let's try it with them. Or they're going to say, you know what? Go to Miss Johnson. She likes trying new stuff. Try it with her. And then it'll roll. And I'm telling you, I've not had one campus say, we're out. Doesn't happen. It just grows. It'll take 2 years to go full campus. All right? And then you work this into your evaluation with your principal and say, I've got a whole child, every child initiative that I want to roll out. I want to try it this year or next, whatever you determine, and I want to be full campus by this date, 1, 2, 3, 5-year plan, however you want to do, and say, I'd love to introduce this to our whole district and our community because I am a pillar with a cape, right, of wellness for every child in our community, and let it roll. If you would like to, you can do this now. So here's the difference. Let me explain this. You received a little piece of paper, unless you were part of that Fight in the Door crew, right? But there's a Join the Movement QR code on the paper, and I'll give you the paper if you don't have the paper. That will get you directly into our Facebook community. This will give you the direct line of all the communications that I will provide to you so that you can be comfortable with rolling this thing out over time, and your school will show up on the map, and you'll get the welcome to, and then you can figure out when you want to throw this thing out. Okay? I would encourage you to do both. And then if at any point you're like, it's just not going to work, just say, I'm done with you, and I disappear. Okay? But know that our job is to listen to you, support you. If you got full district stuff going on, let me know. I'd be happy to be, sometimes the different voice works. Okay? But I'd be more than happy to work with you individually to give you that voice so that you can be comfortable going in front of the crowd and say, hey, this is what we're going to do and why we're going to do it. All right? All we do is support from here on out. And then we welcome you to the movement to movement. So any questions about anything Daily Mile? Any questions about how it could fit and look on your campus? If you got anything that you discover after you're done singing karaoke tonight, right? Stop by. I'll be around today and tomorrow. We do have a 7 a.m. walk tomorrow on the beach. So if you need to get out and about and get a little vitamin D, join me on the beach. We're going to just talk shop. We're going to kind of dive into the ins and outs of what your district feels, what your school feels, and some of the obstacles that you might be able to face, and I can kind of give you some tidbits and pointers as to how to overcome those. Otherwise, thank you for spending time on your day. Enjoy your afternoon, and I'll see you around. Feel free to stop by the booth. Jesse has a USB, yeah? Grab a lanyard and a USB. On that USB, you will have that back end of the PowerPoint that you can share with your school administrator so you can sell this idea and then get moving, all right?
What does this look like on a rainy day?
Excellent question. Weather, big time obstacle. On a rainy day, this is awesome. So, on a rainy day, you drizzle, you head out. Okay, why? We'll get to in a second. I had a school in Chicago that celebrated. They made it every day they did their Daily Mile, even when it was freezing cold. Okay, so the weather, think weather with me for a minute. Her rationale was, like, we're not missing a day. I'm like, well, what was your message? She goes, well, I sent a letter that we could create for you to the principal, or to the parents, saying, hey, rain or shine, we're out. And the reason was because there was a big push maybe 7 years ago of grit and toughness and overcoming, right? So her thing was like, look, I need my class to know that we're in charge of the flow of the day. Obstacles are going to come and go, but we're going to persevere. And it was a toughness builder for her. Now, your custodial engineer might be upset with some of the mud on the ground. But then again, remember, soft clay, right? So that is an opportunity for us to teach responsibility, to teach community involvement, and offer up the chance to work with the custodial engineer to keep your campus clean. So, I mean, there's ways to make it a positive. But lightning, right? No. Any unsafe, so like in Houston, I've got schools that are like, look, our district policy is if it's over 180 degrees, we're not allowed out, right? So I'm like, yeah, you don't want people, like, no, right? But then I have some that set up like a hallway route. Like, you can do whatever you want. So think outside the box with this, right? We want them to move 3 to 5. Outside is best. Sometimes we can't. Anybody else? Great question. No? Yes, ma'am.
I noticed that some teachers are using walking as a discipline. How do you get them to understand that you don't want that to happen?
Yeah.
Because walking is a lifestyle.
Sure. Okay, I will not lie to you. Not everyone will hear your message, okay? But you're the teacher and the cape wearer in this game, right? So go to your campus and say, hey, look, this movement piece is designed to be for a lifetime. This 15-minute walk is a tool that they can lean on during the hard times, because second grade is not going to be the most stressed out they are in life, right? So, I mean, think about what you're doing for a lifetime and really take a moment to have a side conversation with the educational professional that is choosing to attach something that should be a positive to a negative. And it's going to take, sometimes you have to knock on the door more than once, is all I'll say, right? But don't beat on them with it. Just try to inspire is what I would suggest.
I think that on that end, you can say, well, you're frustrated with this class, or they're frustrated because of something. Why don't you take them out for that walk instead of punishing all?
And what I would challenge them to do is, like, it sounds like they're reactive there, right? And you don't want to live in reaction mode as an educator when you can have a proactive opportunity. So again, this is an opportunity to stay ahead of the reaction. So we don't have to restore, we pre-store. And this fits right in line with that. So I would suggest that approach. Hey, before everybody loses it, why don't we build this into the system so we don't have to lose it, right? Again, you get your time back. All right, enjoy. If you need anything, let me know. I'll be here for another day and a half with Jesse. But hey, thank you.